And I had my.
Awesome. Clapboard.
The regular board meeting of the Park District of Highland Park is called to order at 6:02 p.m. Kathy, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Here.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Here.
Commissioner Flores-Weiskopf?
Here.
Vice President Ruttenberg?
I'm here.
President Kaplan?
And I'm here as well. Thank you. Do we hit?
Oh, my God. I was checking out the website. I'm sorry. Good.
Let's start the meeting over.
Can you rewind that? Take
We
two.
have that ability?
Take
Can
two.
we start again?
Can you show him a good side while you're at it?
It is hilarious.
Why don't we just
Do
continue?
we have any additions to the agenda? No? I do. This past week, the Park District of Highland Park and our community lost Michael Fisher, who served as a commissioner for the Park District of Highland Park from 1993 to 2005. During his 12 years in that role, Michael held numerous positions, including president and vice president. He chaired several advisory committees and was the district's liaison for local neighborhood groups. He was an advocate for natural areas restoration, tree preservation in the parks, and important landscape restoration projects. Michael was a tireless supporter for the district's recreation and sports programs, including the opening of the Recreation Center of Highland Park, a facility that is enjoyed by thousands of Highland Park residents each year. Michael demonstrated his belief in setting high standards for our community and our park district. His legacy lives on in our parks and recreation facilities. Tragically, we also lost Billy Fisher, Michael's little brother. Billy was a fixture in and around Highland Park. He was often referred to as the unofficial mayor of Highland Park. Billy Fisher was a regular at the Recreation Center and was an outstanding athlete and participant on many of the Northern Suburban Special Recreation Association Gator Special Olympic teams. One of Billy's proudest moments was celebrating his team's gold medal in powerlifting at the NSSRA Shining Star Banquet 2 years ago. Billy knew everyone and loved everyone. He'll be missed by many. Now let us take a moment of silence for Norma Billy. Okay. Now, on a humorous note, something came up on my computer that's hello, remind me to buy eggs next time I'm at the grocery store. Showtimes for movies at Regal Meridian 16. I think I got spammed.
Billy.
It was Billy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good.
Any comments from the public from anything on the agenda? Nope. First is the consent agenda. Has everyone looked at it?
Yes, I move adoption of the consent agenda.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores-Weiskopf?
Aye.
Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye, the motion carries. Next, we go to unfinished business, Highland Park Country Club agreements. Liza to present.
Okay, in your packet on your computer are the 4 agreements relative to our discussions with the city regarding the Highland Park Country Club. The 4 agreements include the intergovernmental agreement, the transfer of property, which is lots 1, 2, 6, and 7. There's lot 3 of the Highland Park Country Club. That's a lease agreement. Those are the properties that house mini golf, learning center, and the dome. There is the lot 4 shared use agreement, which is really the properties surrounding the actual Highland Park Country Club, the parking lot, and then there is the tree nursery. In short, we have been going back and forth with the city for a very long time, and the most recent draft of the documents that we had were dated July 22nd. The city's attorney had made some changes, which came back to the Park District. We communicated, and then the city manager and I had conversations so we could kind of wrap our brains around where we were and what are the outstanding items. So there are actually 4 items that were still out for discussion. The city council had their committee of the whole meeting last night, and Commissioner Bernstein and Commissioner Ruttenberg and myself attended that meeting. And at that meeting, the the city council, or the city attorney pretty much reviewed the agreements and highlighted these 4 outstanding issues. So it would probably be simplest if I just took these 4 items and brought you up to speed on what the discussions were last night. Of the 4, there are still 2 items that are open just because we don't necessarily agree with what the city, where the city's coming from. So in terms of the first item, and this is relative to all 4 agreements, there was discussion about the 1996 Master Intergovernmental Agreement. The Park District's attorney has reviewed that agreement and all of the subsequent amendments and has recommended that there is no need to continue with the master lease and that we can terminate that. The city directed their counsel last night to do a similar review in the best, to protect the city's interests. And so Attorney Elrod indicated that it would be a quick turnabout. And so the city has authorized him to do that, and we're hoping that he comes up with the same conclusion. The second item is an easy one. There was going to be an Exhibit D referencing discussions between Park District and city staff about the use of the nursery. Our staffs have worked very closely on this and feel that there is no need for that exhibit. The tree nursery agreement does a nice job of outlining where we are and some of the operational issues we're going to continue to have, where we'll just pick up the phone and call. So everyone agreed to the eliminate. That has been, if this board is still okay, we're going ahead without Exhibit D. The next item is one of the outstanding items, and this pertains to the management fee for Lot 3. As you will recall, we have been proposing a 5% management fee to cover the overhead or the indirect expenses for the Park District's running the operations on Lot 3. And that we would take the first 2 years of operation and take that average, and then 5% of those expenses would become the management fee going forward. And the city feels very strongly that after the first 2 years of operation, that the various parties should get together and discuss what the fee should be going forward. And they have basically, hold on, and so what I'm going to do right now is hand out, this is just language that pertains to the discussion, and the mayor was very specific in that we needed to better define what the expenses were. And you can see in blue the changes that were made, the language changes that were made. But at the end of the day, the city council is recommending that the groups meet after.
It's also red. Red changes are in red also. Red and
Red was what was existing that was deleted.
Yes, okay.
And the blue is the language that was added. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Clearly, you're an attorney. So at any rate.
They were on TV.
Or he's not colorblind.
Or I'm learning more. No. So at any rate, so that is still an outstanding issue. And then the last item that I will touch on, which also is something that needs some further discussion, is regarding the Lot 4. We all have agreed that we need to provide parking for the seniors, and there has been discussion from our board that we need to address parents with small children and strollers, et cetera. And the language in the agreement still speaks to the parking restrictions, that we have spaces reserved for seniors between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So there was discussion about that start time, and the city's comments were that we could designate spaces, we could identify spots for parents with strollers in addition to the seniors, and that might rectify that, or we could create a sidewalk. So that discussion we bring back to you tonight. And so I don't know if either Cal or Barney, if you have any additions to what I've just summarized, but so I think that both Barney and Cal spoke they spoke about these items to the council, and we told them that we would be meeting tonight and that we would have these discussions and we would report back to them.
Let me just say that based upon the conversation yesterday, I'm looking at the Lot 3 agreement.
Right.
And the changes in paragraph 4B are in my humble opinion, acceptable. It's clarification of language of expenses, and it's somewhat duplicative of the next point that we have to talk about.
So, we talked about this 5% annual expenses. I will be very clear, our staff has told us that 5% is more than fair to both sides. Our expenses might even exceed that, but all we're willing to take is 5% of the annual expenses for our fee to manage a property. We've now spent 18 months almost on a deal that should have taken 6 weeks on these properties. I don't see any reason, we're not asking for increases. I don't see any reason to renegotiate every 2 years. In fairness to both, I would suggest 5% for 5 years and then look at it again. But not 2 years. We can't do this every 2 years.
Well, just to be clear, the agreement as drafted is that the 5% is for 2 years, and then thereafter, it's looked at annually. So it's not every 2 years you
No.
look at this number. It's this 5% is fixed at the first 2 years, and then the parties are going to get together, the city and the Park District staff, to determine whether the 5% is an accurate allocation of the administrative costs to this facility, and that. So I just want to make sure we're clear. It's not. It's
I
every
understand.
year it's going to be looked at under their proposal.
Under their proposal.
Yes.
And we have gone from 15 to 10 to 5. We've been told by our staff 5 is a fair number. I just don't see any reason to revisit it in 2 years. Maybe 5 years.
Keep in mind, as part of an open discussion, keep in mind that the city can terminate this
At 7 years.
at 7 years. And we brought these points up at the meeting yesterday. I just wanted to clear. One of the clarifications that this is reflecting, by the way, is to make it clear that there will be an annual management fee with the percentage to be determined. And there's no vehicle here. No, that percentage could be anywhere from 0 to 100%.
Right.
And I just point that out. And also keep in mind that it gets more complicated because the annual management fee, the way it's drafted, is based upon performance during the first 2 years. So the change in year 4 theoretically goes back to the first 2 years. I mean, it's not correctly done if we accept that. And there is, again, no vehicle to decide if there's a dispute, but there is a commitment, at least in here, that there will be an annual management fee. So I think there's a lot of little points here. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong yet, but
And the question I asked last night is that, again, we're talking about operation expenses. We're not talking about capital improvements. So if we make it a significant investment, we're not talking about taking a fee.
On a $5 million upgrade.
Exactly, taking an administrative fee based on that. The question we asked last night for Liza, and hopefully she has the answer tonight,
She does.
is what are we talking about on annual expenses? So what is 5%
Right.
of the anticipated expenses for the driving for the Lot 3
Very
enterprises?
happy that I refrained from answering the question that was on my mind, thinking that it was the answer, but so we're looking at the 2018 budget, and keep in mind that this is important because this is the first year that the Park District is running this operation separate and apart from any Kemper or anyone like that. Our total annual operating expenses in 2018 were $266,740.12. The math on 5% of 266,000 is $13,300.
How much is it?
$13,300.
So the point that I want to raise, and I'm glad we have the information, is that whether it's 5%, 6%, 4%, or 3%, each percent is roughly about $2,300. And I mentioned this last night at the meeting, that are we really going to spend 15, 20 minutes or a half hour of council time and Park District Board time to discuss a $2,300 issue when the city has a $70 million budget and the Park District has a $22 million. I don't want to minimize that it's still $2,300, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to impact either of our organizations one way or the other
No, but-
materially.
Right, but it's gonna cover our costs, which is all,
It's,
all we're asking
but I
for.
just remember, in dollars and cents, we're talking about $2,300.
You're 100% correct,
Okay.
but it's still covering our costs.
So, and
And
I don't,
if we're gonna run this for anybody,
yeah.
we shouldn't eat at our costs because they wanna drive a hard bargain.
And I get it, but there's some times where you draw a line in the sand, and
Okay.
this is not where I would draw a line in the sand.
Well, let me add some more color to the conversation for
Yeah.
those
More
who
than blue and red.
Let me add some more color for those who were not in attendance last night. The thrust seemed to be that the Park District at Highland Park Country Club lost $300,000, that the city did not want to see its revenue stream diminish by the administrative costs. And that led to the conversation of the definition of expenses needed some revisions so that we weren't double dipping. But it still came back to, we lost $300,000 at Highland Park Country Club. I mean, it was just a cycle that kept going back to that. Now, and we tried to not put numbers on the table, but basically say, we didn't want to get into a situation where we would have to have timesheets for our various departments and department heads, and then figure out their hourly compensate, and then come back to a number. And the end result was what you see in front of us.
I mean, we didn't have the number that Liza had, and the city seemed to appear to be hung up on the fact is that this would have a material detrimental effect to the ability of this Lot 3 enterprise to operate in a profit. And I don't think they really, we try to hit them over the head with this, but I don't think they've fully digested that we are talking about a $2,000 or $3,000 issue on, I think, they seem to think that this 5%, let me just finish, Brian.
Yeah, no,
They
but
seem to think that
cul-de-sac.
this 5% is somehow going to corrupt the number that the revenue stream that's coming from this property. I am confident that if our president would place a call to the mayor and explain to the mayor that we're really only talking about a couple $1,000 either way, that this can be easily resolved.
Cal, the point I was going to add is that they seem to have a gross misconception of what that number was going to be. And the point that I kept hearing, aside from how much golf club lost,
Yeah.
is it's an open-ended number. So perhaps what we do is we say that that it's 5% and no renegotiation, it's 5%, but will not exceed dollar number X.
Yes, it's very simple.
Over the period of time. And I know this goes on for 150 years, but why can't we suggest, knowing our numbers and knowing what our projected budget might be, project out and assume that administrative costs, if we captured 5% is 13,000. I'm sorry, what was the number?
13.3.
$13,000, and we put a cap for the first 7 years of $20,000 or $25,000, and then inflate that for the every on CPI. So we cap it so that they don't have unlimited exposure.
Yeah, I will mention, Liza did make the point last night, is that she anticipates that the expenses will be flat at the
Yeah,
operation
consistent.
defenses. The operation, now, we may put capital funds into that, that's a different
That's
situation. But the operation on an annual basis, we have a pretty good idea going forward what that number is going to be, and we didn't have that figure last night when we were discussing with the council. But now that we know that number, I assume for 2019, the budget's going to have a similar number. Is that a pretty good guess? I don't know how far you are in the
It'll
budget.
increase a little, but not,
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. I mean, we need to be a little higher in some maintenance costs, but
So
Because of the
again,
heating pole
we've just
and
spent
stuff.
20 minutes talking about a $2,000 issue.
Cal, we have spent 18 months talking about the issue.
It's like-
This
So let's-
2,300, I have a question, can you
Yeah.
guys clarify? $2,300, explain that amount.
It's 1 point, it's 1%. Because they are
Whereas-
discussing whether we should get 5%, 4%, maybe whatever that percentage is. Because in the agreement, they've agreed that we're entitled to some percentage amount. However, that they want to relook at that after 2
Of
years, which is
operating
really,
expenses.
which is
Right.
really silly because what are they going to do? We're going to have our staff and their staff go spend an afternoon crunching numbers over a $2,000 issue, potentially a $2,000 issue. And I'm saying it's a waste of everybody's time.
So that's my question. So it's $2,300, who would?
No,
say
forget the
over it?
2,300.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
$13,000.
and
But
change.
there's
Is the-
potentially they reduce it by.
If they
one-
say you're only entitled to 4%,
Then
we-
it's
Right.
it's
we
a
lose
$2,300.
Okay, I got it. I was unclear.
So this is
Because I
really-
guess because what I, because I wasn't at that meeting and I'm
Yeah.
just gathering stuff right now. Cal, I think there's many reasons why we should not keep revisiting this, but I'm uncomfortable saying it's only 2,300, give or take. Because then I could see the city,
Yeah.
well, you said something along the lines of it's not going to make, say why
Yeah.
that's dangerous. Because then I don't want the city to say, well, then just give it to us. You know what I'm saying? Well, if it's not going to make or break anyone, why are they arguing on this?
No,
Because-
I think what, if I could
Yeah.
interpret, I think what
Yeah.
Cal is saying is, if they came back and said it's 4%, we're not entitled to 5%, that they think it should be 4%, it's $2,300, that we would lose,
Yeah.
and it's not that we shouldn't discuss it or argue about it.
Right.
It's, that would be in their mind, hey, it's, on your whole budget, it's $2,300, you can absorb it. And I'm just saying that the conversation kept going back and back, that it could be unlimited, and we've said, no, it's not unlimited.
And-
The exposure, yes, you might get no rent. It's true. It's possible that the rent would be zero if we kind of break even.
Yes.
And we understand that. But this isn't going to make a material difference to what we pay. So that's why I'm saying maybe the way around it, I'll repeat myself, I know, is we say it's 5% every year, but it won't exceed, and then project a number out with the CPI after every 10 years or something. That's more complicated, or we just do a
No,
straight
I would
5%.
just keep it at a percentage because if the expenses increase based on CPI, then our number we'll get is based on the percentage.
Then I would just say we say 5% and leave it.
And I would explain it, I would ask Brian to call the mayor
I'll call
and just explain, we are talking about each point is right now it's $2,300. That she seems to think it's $300,000. So she has somehow the city council is in mind that we're trying that somehow that they're never going to get any money because we're getting 5%.
Seriously.
And that's how the conversation went last night. I think, and we didn't have the figure with us, about what the amount was. And so I think that if you would call the mayor and explain what we're really talking about in dollars and cents, I think this could be easily resolved.
I called Gita today and
Yeah.
gave her the numbers, as
Yeah.
I said that I would, but there was a lot going on, so we didn't really get into a great debate about it. But I don't want to have these guys looking at me like, what do you mean it's going to be flat? I mean, expenses are going to go up, but so are revenues. So I would say that the swing could be on average, 3% increase on the
So if it goes up-
expense side.
If it goes up from 230 to
Yeah,
250.
it's still small.
It's still,
So
it can.
now it's $2,500.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking about $200 then. in this
So if anyone sitting in the front row has a comment.
Or the back row.
Okay, so my
I know those
suggestion,
two are
Very
directly
back
related.
my suggestion is
Middle
that
row also.
our
Don't
president
forget the
talk to the
middle
mayor and resolve this.
And if we don't,
This is going on too
then-
long, you're right.
then I say it's just 5%,
Yes,
they can
yes.
take it or leave
Yeah, I mean,
it.
this conversation
It's
is,
stupid, because let them find someone who's gonna run it cheap.
whatever, no one's threatening anybody over $2,500
Not
or
threatening
$200, okay? Let's
So
let's move on. What's the next
I
issue?
totally agree with where our position
Yeah.
is. If they want to negotiate the percentage, that's a different issue. But this is a number that, if you're in a shopping center, you're paying 15% of the expenses and administrative overhead. I mean, this is really a low number.
Yes. I'm almost tempted to call Adam right now and just explain to him
He understands.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
understands it.
Okay.
All right, so now we have the issue with the spaces.
Parking, and that
Parking
is your
space.
lot 4 agreement.
Lot 4,
Hold on.
did you guys discuss this
I
last
saw
night?
that.
Yeah, that was really Barney. We talked about it a little bit, and then Barney, and I'll let Barney handle this discussion.
If you want me to get you,
So basically, they promised us X amount of spaces, and they want to take 35 of those spaces and make them for people, for the seniors going to the senior center.
The ones that are closest to
The
the.
ones that are closest.
Yes.
But it's, and those spaces will be for senior center only. from
No. They'll be for seniors.
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Correct. And remember, I just want to add, the seniors, and I don't know whether you'll get a little sticker or how you're going to do it, would be people above a certain defined age,
55.
55, I think it is.
Oh, don't tell me that.
That's what I said when I
But-
first, I said, holy shit.
And
When I
so-
first get my AARP, like.
You could have gotten that 7 years
Yeah,
ago.
no, exactly.
So, trying to stay a little bit sober here.
Mm-hmm.
The parking will have an effect on, I would pull a number, half of the members of the rec center who come there for classes at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. I mean, you're certainly not going to park in that area if you don't have one of the little decals or something that says you're qualified if you have an 8:30 class, because you'll get a ticket at 9 o'clock in the morning. And that has a real chilling effect. And also, you pointed out that we have a lot of young families that come,
The kids fit.
and the kids use Kid Fit. It isn't, the suggestion was made that there should be a sidewalk for them to walk along. Well, a sidewalk is great, especially when it's 10 below zero and you're trying to hustle everybody in.
I mean, my concerns, obviously, and the mayor echoed my concerns, is safety. And then a lot of times at that time in the morning, we have the stay-at-home parent or whoever taking their child to the rec center to go to Kid Fit while they work out. And I don't want, and I told this to the mayor, I want those spaces to be as close as possible to the rec center, because toddlers, for safety purposes, should not have to traverse through a long parking lot to get to the rec center. That's,
Would
And
it-
how would
would
we
it-
enforce that?
I'm sorry?
How would we enforce the toddlers, the
no,
young
they
kids?
want to reserve the 35 spaces closest to the rec center for seniors. So if a young parent who's I should say any parent or grandparent could be, bringing a toddler or someone to Kids Fit, they're going to be parking at least 35 spaces to the
Oh, I
to the east of the rec center.
So is it spaces or time?
Well, it's the time. What's the time? Well,
It's the
Barney said-
time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we've
what-
agreed to the spaces.
Yeah.
It's
What
the
if we
time.
started it at 10?
Well, the rec center, I'm sorry, the senior center may start at 9 o'clock. That may be what they're trying to tell us, but they don't know.
My suggestion is maybe we somehow, it's hard because you have all that handicap parking on the.
Already taken.
Taking on on the south side of the parking lot. How do we,
Yeah, me-
you guys operate, Mitch, you operate it. I mean, I'm not there on a weekday at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Tell me what the parking lot looks like.
slammed.
I don't know.
Slammed.
Slammed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the 9:30 slot is mostly moms. with
What
young
time,
kids.
what time do they start leaving?
What's
10,
that?
10:30?
After 10.
10:45.
11 o'clock after the 9:30 classes. And
After
then
9:30
we start to
classes.
shift to more senior programming, like 11 o'clock classes are more.
So maybe they're just being, a little bit pushy on the start time for the seniors.
Well, I'm sure the senior center probably starts their activities at 9 o'clock in the
Well,
morning. That's why they're doing
One
that.
of the things that, we have this diagram, and, you can't quite tell where 35 spaces is, but it's almost, I wonder if we were to designate the 35 spaces in like east and west, north and south versus linearly away, so that, maybe this is for the seniors and this is for everybody else kind of thing.
Well, it really depends how they operate.
That's the
We
problem.
don't know where they're going to have their entrance. I don't think they know where they're going to have their entrance.
Are they gonna change?
I think they're talking about putting a separate entrance. Are they not doing that anymore?
On the north side, no?
No, they're not
gonna do
They're
that.
going
Not
to
gonna
have
do that?
everyone come in the country club entrance. There is, there is language in Lot 4 on page 11B, and it talks about in the event the city ever intends to relocate the required parking spaces or build a multi-level deck, et cetera, the city shall seek out comments and recommendations of the Park District with respect to the relocation of parking. So maybe there's a way that we could sit down with the city staff, like ASAP, with a map and look at what we have now and see if we can designate spaces.
Let me ask the question. So 35 spaces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So that's 7 spaces into the parking lot that they want reserved for seniors.
But out of those
Am I
7
right?
rows, you have handicap spaces.
That's part of the spaces, isn't it?
Well,
Is that part
some
of 35?
Some
Pull it
seniors,
up on
some
here.
seniors might not have handicap stickers.
No, that's right. It's
So it could
35.
be,
It's 35 on top of the handicap spaces.
so where's
We
that?
can pull it
where's-
up on
Yeah, show
Google.
me where that line
And
would be drawn.
weren't they gonna use the golf cart?
That's what I was about to ask.
They
Yeah.
haven't committed to that.
Out area, I thought.
Oh, well, I don't know how we can get around this.
And besides, that's further away from the entrance, and those would probably be people from the rec center.
It's problematic, I mean.
See,
It's-
that's my concern, is how do you designate spots for seniors who are using the senior center, and then seniors who are using the rec center? There's so many.
That's why
of
it's
them.
just
It says
seniors.
senior
It would just say
citizens.
senior citizen.
Okay, so, okay, but that's 55 and up?
So they get a decal? maybe
I'm
to put on their
not getting a
car?
decal. I'm not going to do it. I mean,
I'm gonna
I can walk, okay?
I'll park farther back and walk.
Now, I will admit, I
Parking.
discussed this with my wife, and she said over a dead body, would she put a sticker on her car that says, I am a proud senior.
Only when I get
Then
discounted
they take
movies,
it?
that's all I care about.
It's good for museums.
Golf too. All right, so is there ever been any talk on the newbie about valet? Is that like,
Oh, that's too expensive.
Ballet.
I volunteered to valet.
no, I mean,
people.
I'm not saying
I think
us.
we looked into it a long time ago and it's really
Okay.
expensive.
Yeah, I would think the liability too.
All right, so let's count up where we
Yeah.
can get there.
There's
Well,
really
you're good.
only,
Yeah, look at that.
there's only 1, 2, 3, 4,
It'd be perfect for,
there's only
Kids
4
if I had
handicap
kids, I'd do it.
spaces
wait, do we
east
have it on
of
our
the
screen?
divider.
So it's
It's only
basically,
up there.
if you want to really, it's right around the medium,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's 2 spaces per
I
space.
don't get this.
Yeah.
It's
So
up
it's-
there
Well,
now.
for the handicap.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Golf?
okay, so would somebody count
Yeah,
those
here's the
spaces?
dumpster.
Yeah.
So here's
And
the
here, I
walk
thought we were
up
gonna
on
have
your
parking spots
computer.
over
Oh,
here.
it is.
Well, that's right, they're talking
Under,
Which spots do they want? They want these?
So,
You want to count to 35, Dan?
all right, so let's see.
Brian?
1, 2, 3.
Hey, Annette!
They want all of them.
Oh,
35, but these
Hey,
are,
where's our-
these
where's
are
our
already
phone?
handicapped.
How many,
What-
So
how
would
many?
these
Right,
count?
what do you want him to count?
these are
Yeah.
handicapped.
So are these
Different
though,
than-
remember? These two are handicapped.
And these are handicapped. Is handicap and senior the same thing?
Does
Can a senior be
does the
handicapped?
handicap
No.
4, do they
Doesn't
count
count.
as senior, so they're in addition to?
35, you said? So it's about
So,
right there.
yeah,
Yeah,
about half
I
of
would
that.
bet you it would be, of course, we don't know. It
Yeah.
would be up to the the
probably
landscape.
up to the first set of landscape.
On 3 of the rows.
hey, can we span east, see what's left?
It's a
Yeah, There's a
ton.
lot of
Well, you
parking
got
lot.
the whole picture there.
No, but I can't, I don't like it.
So if you think about the reason, okay, are we doing this for seniors to make it easier for them to physically get into the rec center?
Yeah. No,
Okay,
not just-
and-
or it's a
But then
senior
that brings
center.
up the point, that excellent point you made, what about people with young children? It is just as challenging for them and dangerous for them. So
Sure.
that's where you, if you're gonna take
The
those
conflict, yeah.
spots,
So what's,
I-
so Mitch, on a weekday morning, what's that parking lot look
I can
like?
tell you, I remember.
I would say it's probably in the winter, probably 2/3 full.
Like it
Really?
looks like
That
now.
much?
You know, if we're talking.
Yeah, it takes, they get there early.
From one of your 9:30 mornings or so.
Yeah, I would say, this area is really the only area that doesn't really get used. It would be all of this, because staff is usually way back here,
Wow,
so, yeah, that whole area,
I see that part.
on a typical winter weekend.
And if you think about it, if a class is 9:30 to 10:30,
Kathy?
then they go and get their child.
Said it
It
works.
takes about another 10, 15 minutes walking out, so it really is busy about
Can we
10:50
pay
to
attention,
11.
please?
Yeah.
It's,
Lori's making a point.
yeah, I was. What I'm
In the
pointing out is
sidewalk
that
you're
I
talking
agree with
about,
that.
class is at 9:30
Barney?
to 10:30.
the parking lot, the sidewalk you're talking about is along the south end?
North end.
It's in my
No,
ear,
there's a
right?
sidewalk that is
This one?
not a very good one
Right.
along the north end.
I know.
Yeah,
I see
no,
it.
okay, I
It's
know
like,
about
it's-
that.
and then when you get,
Yes.
to get east of the cart paths,
It
I mean,
drops off.
it becomes like a paver almost. type
Yeah,
of
you can't
sidewalk.
walk on it.
You can't walk it. Well, here's my thinking on this, okay, and again, and I'm gonna be an outlier, is that already with young families, the parking lot's already 2/3 full as it is. So people with young kids are parking all the way to the east as it is right now if they get there later. So is this gonna make a material difference? If we corner off 35 spaces?
It's going to have a chilling effect on people being willing to go to the rec center. They're going to say, it's cold, I've got kids.
They're already parking there because it's already
What
2/3
if for
filled.
some reason those spots aren't filled and people start seeing that?
Yeah, that's
They'll
the
just start
problem.
parking there
Yeah.
and have issues. They'll say, well, they're not used, and why would I park here when it's, these spots are always open?
And we're not arguing about the designation. Thank you, I'll park there. But we're disputing the time so that somebody who is there at an 8:30 class
Doesn't have to run out.
cannot park there. It means you cannot park for an 8:30 class.
Well, I'll defer to
Close.
you guys on this.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think I would even propose if this does happen, that specifically for safety, that we extend that sidewalk so that parents and young kids can get to the sidewalk quicker and not, because we have that issue now where you'll see young kids
They're going
running
down
through the lot and then cars aren't, they
middle.
can't see them, so.
I personally,
That sidewalk's not gonna make a
I
big
think one of the thoughts that was going through the mind,
Where's your computer?
I don't have one.
Did you ever have one?
Yeah, go ahead, Barney.
and I'm going to wait for Mitch and Brian to pay attention. I think one of the thoughts that might have been going through the mind, and I can't read some people, is that there should probably be sidewalks between the rows of cars,
No.
which would significantly make that parking lot difficult to use.
And the way the sidewalk is,
That sidewalk's useless.
you're not gonna park in the first, second, and third row.
And
closest
walk,
to the
yeah,
street,
And we'll
walk
walk over there.
towards the
Right,
golf
you're
course.
not going to use that sidewalk.
Okay, all right, my
The
next question.
sidewalk is not gonna add safety, it's just gonna add cost.
So if the seniors move to the country club,
We can revisit this issue.
no, if they do, is the parking lot then get redone?
I believe that is the plan.
Okay, so what's the plan for that? Are they gonna reconfigure it, or is it gonna be the same?
Well, that's why I just referenced this language, that we would
On the
be
next page of
consulted.
the agreement, it talks about they will consult with us and we'll have input.
What about the golf cart area? Wasn't there some
Right,
discussion
that's
about
what I
that
was
early
saying.
Yeah,
on?
we don't know, they don't know what they're going to do.
But that plays a
But
huge
how
part
many
in
spots
this,
can we
right?
put in there?
We d- I-
30,
I know you want to wrap this, like have something in, but I think that we could talk about this till the cows come home, but until we know what the parking lot's going to look like, it's really hard to designate. So it seems like some language should be put in here to have, like, even equal say on what parking looks like when the
Revisit
senior,
it
when
if and
when
when.
and if the seniors move.
Yeah, I agree, because my guess is that if the seniors move, they may square off that parking lot, include the pads where the carts
That's
are.
what I was just thinking.
And then there'll be a lot more park, at least that's what we should do, I mean, but, and square that off so there's more parking for both the seniors and the rec center, because there'll be another use on the property, and and that makes, and we're gonna redo that parking lot anyway, because that's what the terms of the agreement is, so, you know,
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
opposing the language that says it's designated from 9 to 5. And, you know,
But I think,
that's the problem I have with it.
I
yeah.
think, and I don't like saying, if we kick this can down the road, with, the language lies that you just gave us, with an equal say, when we work on the parking lot, when we know what it's gonna look like, what the use is gonna be.
Are we paying for half the parking lot?
I think, well, it
Not if
depends
they
upon
redo
what
it for the
exhibit-
seniors.
Pardon me?
Not if they redo it for the
Could
seniors.
you check the agreement for that, please?
Yeah,
Who's paying for the parking lot?
I thought it was half
For the
That's my
seniors.
for
recollection.
redoing the parking lot, that we agreed we were gonna share it.
But I think to have this conversation
You're probably right.
today, with really the unknown.
Well, I think it makes no sense to have a conversation today because that parking lot will not be the parking lot if the seniors are there.
It will look different.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what you're saying right in front of the cart line, from the maintenance shed, squaring it off there.
Yeah, Liza's right.
What's it say?
And except for a parking deck, we share the cost.
Yeah, so we're going to
We
share the,
cost, we should share.
Equal say.
yeah, equal sign. I mean, I think that's obviously a very expensive project right there. But I think that we would want to create more parking, and I think there'll be enough parking. And again, it's an awkward parking lot as it is because everything is so far to the east. But I think we'll be able to accommodate 35 spaces, assuming we're able to recapture that land where the carts queued up.
That's not, is that part of our property or their property?
We'll sell it
Isn't that
for-
all theirs?
That's their property.
Yeah, that's their property. And I think that's where they want, I think that, well, that will all be in the discussions with redoing the parking lot, I'm assuming.
I just think it's premature, this conversation.
It's,
Well, but, so then we,
They force our hand.
that's right. So we can agree that there'll be 35 designated spaces with location and hours to be mutually agreed upon.
Yes.
fine.
So agree on 35 spaces with hours and
Placement.
In placement, because,
placement to be
and,
agreed upon.
and I would note to them is that it's hard to make a determination right now because the parking lot will be reconfigured when it gets redone, and so that's the proper time to address this issue, not now when we're talking in the abstract.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I told Gita I would call her, and I
Yeah.
thought we were,
Okay.
One last thing, how's it gonna be enforced? Is there a note in there? who's gonna-
Bring the CERT team
no,
out, citizens
that would be a
arrest.
city responsibility.
Barney
'cause
Fife
they're
is
the
gonna come out there and
enforcers
take
of
care
all
of this.
I
traffic.
have one bullet.
Yeah.
No, because if it's not enforced, there's no point even discussing this.
But that's,
We gotta make sure
if
that
you
we're
have
clear.
but Lori, if you have a sign that says
Seniors only.
seniors only,
Right.
We're
You're-
hoping people have enough respect.
and they can read,
And it would,
you're not going
Oh, they have to be able to read.
you have to be able to read. Oh, yeah. You know, we have a guy with a cane and.
You have to have it in
no.
4 languages.
So,
All right.
and this would be a revenue source to the city, think about that. Little parking guy comes
All right,
around.
next item.
Okay,
Treasurer's report.
Annette Curtis has 3 minutes to the treasurer's report.
all right.
How do you think we handle that tonight?
Yes, I do.
We punted both things.
The bears
Okay.
hunting off.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, good evening, everybody. July's financial information is always very revenue heavy, meaning the revenue related to the summer activities has been posted. It was posted at the program start dates. And the related expenditures are lagging a bit. So most of the operating expenditures for July will be reported, or won't be reported until about August or September. So keep that in mind when you're reviewing the financial informations. As of July 31st, district-wide, that's looking at camp across all of the facilities, revenue is favorable to budget by $56,000 and then favorable to 2017 by $100,000. I double-checked today, and the registration numbers are greater than 2017 at about approximately 60 participants. So we definitely had a very strong camp year. And then, in addition, during August, there was additional camp revenue recognized, about $21,000 for our mini camp and our end-of-season thing. So we definitely camp is definitely very solid for this year. Staff will be reporting on the summer activities, I believe, at one of the October board meetings. So more to follow on that conversation. And then, everybody loves this. The staff has begun the 2019 budget process. They have been working on their budgets and giving presentations and talking it over with department heads during August. And then during the month of September, staff will be presenting their operating budgets to Liza and myself. Capital will be discussed with the Finance Committee on October 3rd and at October's workshop meeting. And then the 2019 budget will be presented to the Finance Committee on October 26th, and then to the board during November. So at your seats, you will find an updated budget timeline for your reference, so keep that in a safe place.
I'm looking at October 3rd for the finance committee. Could we
Okay.
change that date?
Already?
Yeah, it's regionals, so hopefully I'll be watching.
All right, you
these.
know what,
Six in the
I'll set out,
morning At 8 AM?
yeah, this
Yeah.
will be,
Yeah, the regionals start at 8 AM. So,
okay.
um,
I'll do a meeting invite kind of thing, and we'll
I
figure
could
it
do it
out.
the day before, the day after.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't do it that day.
All right.
Hopefully I won't be able to.
We'll look to August 2nd or excuse me, October 2nd or October 4th.
Yeah,
then.
either of those days are fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then checks tonight. Checks written from July 20th, 2018 through August 23rd, 2018 to be presented tonight. Total $2,641,507. So we're definitely seeing more of the capital expenditures coming through as things are being finalized with our capital projects. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I have to step out.
Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
New business? Am I on? Parks Foundation update, Terry Grossberg to present, please.
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
I just want to let you know that the foundation has purchased the Aplos software and contact management system to keep track of several things. It does accounting reports such as payroll, expenses, check cutting, budgeting, bank integration, dashboard. There's also a donor portal and database, pledge tracking, accounting, CRM, and event tracking. So we're working to synthesize all that together to get the foundation into the 21st century, and we have some board members who really know how to take advantage of this. We also can run our website through there, which is being developed as we speak. I can't remember, what did we, Foundation of Highland Park, you can check it out. I'll find out the FDHP. Parks Foundation.
PFOHP?
No, I don't think so.
All right,
I'll figure it
we'll
out.
find it out.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have our own website, and so we're updating things on there, and I'll figure it out and tell you too. It also allows us access for up to 5 users, so a bunch of us can go on there and just kind of keep track of it. Events update, the Champions Banquet. We're looking, now that we're partnering with Chris and the board on doing things, we're looking to maybe move it up 30 to 45 days to get it out of that huge crunch time in May. So anything we do, we're coordinating with Chris and trying to reach an understanding about what each of our roles are, and to try to create some more sponsorship packages for the event. We're also considering selling the tickets through our Aplos software for ease of access and online ticketing and things like that, and just the whole integration. We're also talking about perhaps adding liquor to the event and just kind of figuring out how to maximize the community, since now we've doubled the number of people that come. That how do we kind of make it the greatest? We had an event at Ravinia. There was some world music being played there, and Nick Puglia from Ravinia reached out, and Bob Bernstein, the president, and him spoke. And a couple hours before an event, we had yoga, and they had about 14 or 15 people sign up to come, and then other people just saw us there, and we brought extra mats. So 3 or 4 people just who had no idea came out, and I was there with them, and I cannot believe how good these folks were. And our leader, what was her name,
Melina?
No,
what's her name?
it wasn't
It's the only one I
Tracy,
know with
not
an M.
Tracy.
Tracy? Yeah, she had a bad foot, she hurt her foot recently. Anyways, she was terrific. She had instant, just like, rapport and with the people that were new to this, like just the way she spoke and the language she used and the calm nature and just how she encouraged people was really great to see. So that was great. From a foundation aspect, the Sunset Valley Golf Course First in the Turf, they had approximately 80 golfers participating. We sold raffle tickets there, a 50-50 raffle, and due to the winner donating some of it back to us, I think we raised about $840.
1,000.
840,000?
Oh, no.
I'll take that.
Whoa. No.
gave
It was, we
150
ended
back.
up banking, I think it was about 850. It was like 846, you're right, I'm sorry. I had extra zeros in my brain.
Okay.
I'll shut up.
I hope so. I didn't say that.
that
You
was-
said
I
it.
had trouble with it at the raffle. It's
Yeah, you
carrying
did.
over
That's
till
really
now,
funny.
so.
The foundation board, with the opening of Sunset Valley, is discuss how the donation for junior league golf can be used, which may include building a youth junior league golf team to train and compete locally, as well as equipment for the junior league golfers to use. That was obviously a passion for Mr. Hirsch. I had an opportunity to talk to him about it, and I asked him if he had any vision for what he would like the money to be used for, and he said, I have no vision for it. I donated it. It's up to you and Eliza, I trust Liza, to spend it wisely. So you all heard his story, so hopefully we can fashion something that fits sort of his passions and what he's looking, the reason that he got into golf. Let's see. It's pfhpil.org. So Parks Foundation of Highland Park ill.org. That's it.
Was it, what is it?
pfhpil.org. So you can check it out.
Doing right now.
Fundraising and grants. We're writing some grants. I went with Jessica, one of our great new members, to present in front of Highland Park, and we had a great meeting. They've also spoken with the community, Highland Park Community Foundation. We also have grants in at the CAC and the Human Relations Commission, so we'll be updating you on those. We have a student liaison that just I graduated, and we have a girl that's still on it who's a senior. So we're looking for a prospective junior at the high school to come and be a member. And Chloe, who's our senior, is doing great, and we're looking to get her a pal there. Very quickly, I know some of you know about this, but the Park District is seeking board volunteers to help us selling s'mores kits on October 12th at the Highland Park Country Club. And so if anybody wants to get interested or wants to go and help out, you can know that. We broke up into some committees and we adjourned.
Thank you. Great.
Thank
Great
you.
presentation.
Director's report.
Okay, so we have a couple of subtopics under the director's report tonight, and the first that I want to share with you, and I know that we sent it in a separate email, and I think that it's in your packet. So we had been soliciting members for the Highland Park Country Club Advisory Committee. We received about 25 applications, and the planning team sat down. The applications that people filled out were really designed to find out what their interests were and what their unique contributions could be to the planning for the open areas at the Highland Park Country Club. We wanted to have some very specific use people, and then we wanted to have representation based on age, family makeup, and different interests such as fishing, hiking, walking, biking, etc. And then we also felt it was important to have two representatives from the Legacy Club, one representing the homes and one representing the condominiums. And so we do not have any Legacy board members. We have selected, we actually received about 9 applications from the Legacy Club. So listed on the memo are the actual, we're going to have 14 members.
Do we have that
and-
memo, by the way? Was it on packet? I didn't remember seeing it.
It came as a separate email.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed it.
So we have Sonny Cohen representing the Lake County Audubon Society. Hanya Fuschetto is representing wellness interests, fitness and well-being from the hospital. Ira Chaplik is representing connectivity. Christina Merlot is representing outdoor education and programming. Ira Shetty is outdoor family representation. Michael Erd, I think it's Erd, is the Legacy Club homeowner. He's a walker and a golfer. Peggy Luce is a Legacy Club condo grant experience, and she's a country club walker. We have a parent, Julia Claiborne. We have an avid hiker, and Dana Bartolai. Stan Miller for fishing. Josh Olian is our younger demographic, and he's special ed. Linda Center is intergenerational and civically engaged, and then we have another young family member who has an interest in green play activities. So we will also be having ex officio participants from the City of Highland Park, the Lake County Forest Preserve District, the Lake County Stormwater Management Commission, the Highland Park Senior Center, the Highland Park Bike Walk Advisory Group, and the East Skokie Drainage District. So we are hoping to commence our first meeting, I believe around, bless you, about the third week in September. The team is excited about the applications that they received, and we will be getting word out to all of these people tomorrow.
Sounds like a great team.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. So that is my report on the Highland Park Country Club Advisory Committee. And then just a very brief report, because as I was speaking with Annette earlier today, I said, you briefed the board when Annette gave the presentation a couple of meetings ago about the Briargate TIF and the Ravinia TIF. Just wanted to reiterate that The city staff is in the process now of working on some designs and some construction drawings because they are working on improving the Ravinia streetscape area. It impacts the Park District because we have both Brown Park and Jens Jensen Park in that area. I do know that our staff has been communicating with the city staff on this project. There hasn't been a lot of discussion about Jens Jensen Park, but there has been discussion about Brown Park, and I think one of the ideas is to create sort of a public gathering place near Brown Park. So, as I say, the city is going to be meeting with Ravinia Business District Association at the end of this month, and then we will probably have more opportunities for participation in these conversations.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh,
The president of the Ravinia Neighbors,
uh-huh.
do you know, Purington,
Yeah,
I think his name?
Doug, yeah.
Yeah, he sent out an email saying that they're doing a presentation through the businesses at the
August
train station. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. I do, all that I have on my notes here is that the city is meeting with the Business District Association on August 28th.
Oh, I think they're doing a thing where they're kind of alerting people about some of the things they're talking about. I was just wondering if that was
Yeah,
part
and,
of
and
this.
maybe that's just some of their outreach efforts
Yeah.
as opposed to
What
reach out
what about the
efforts.
park that's just north of Roger Williams?
Carol Snyder Park?
Yeah.
Is that what it's
That's,
called?
is that,
The one with the,
On Broadview or Pleasant?
yeah, one of
Yeah,
those
it's just
streets.
north. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Carol Snyder.
Is that's
What's
not
it
part of
called?
this at all, or?
That is not.
Okay.
Oh.
They're really looking at the downtown area, and
Okay.
these projects would be funded with TIF dollars. So I
Okay.
just want to, if you hear about it, you're aware, and we'll continue to keep you looped in on that as we progress. And then on to the more recreational aspects of the director's report. We are in our last unofficial week of summer with our pool and our beach closing, Monday, Labor Day at 7 p.m. And there's still time to take advantage of a 10% discount on 2019 season memberships for Hidden Creek. So we look forward to wrapping up a safe aquatic season on Monday. And for you outdoor swimmers, the indoor pool will reopen on Tuesday, September 4th. That maintenance is complete. We have, now that Sunset Valley is open, we have a Nine and Dine on September 21st. Hard to believe that another Touch-A-Truck is just around the corner on September 8th. Autumn Fest is September 21st, and basically the easiest thing to do is to look at the Park District website. That would be pdhp.org. And you can find out about all the great events and activities that are taking place at the Park District. And I will note that last Wednesday, I guess it was, we had Media Day at the I almost said the Highland Park Country Club, at Sunset Valley. And Liz and her team worked with the golf team, and it was a really nice event. I think we had about 21 members of the media who came out and had some breakfast, and we made a presentation. And then Joel Hirsch talked a little bit about what Sunset Valley means to him. And what was kind of cool was we have Patrick Flavin, who actually is now working on playing on the web.com tour. So they played, they spoke, and then they went out and played. And Patrick Flavin, he was cute, he says, my goal today is to shoot the course record. And he shot a 67. And as Joel Hirsch said, that record is going to stand for a long time. And that was from the tips. So that was he was really pumped about that. And then what was even neat, and I know Cal will appreciate this, Patrick stuck around after he played because the high school golf team, and Patrick honed his skills at Sunset Valley, and he was a member of the Highland Park golf team. And so he stuck around to talk to the golfers, which I think is pretty cool because he's a neat kid. I mean, he's a really good kid. So we, as I said to someone in the hallway, I said, he's our new Jason Brown. Or maybe he will be our new Jason Brown. We hope we wish good things for him. But at the end of the day, we were back for a little lunch with the media, and I mean, we got just rave reviews from the people. So Liz is putting together sort of a collection of everything that has been written or will be written And then we're doing a little promotion with the golf scene in a commercial that we're gonna feature Joel and Patrick, like a little 30-second thing. So it's great press for Sunset Valley, something we can all be really proud of. It was a lovely event. And I think the members of the media really appreciated the effort that was put out by Liz and her team to provide them with a ton of information and then allow them the opportunity to play, so.
Has there been any thought to put any testimonials on the Sunset Valley Golf Club page? The media, I mean, we have a lot of quotes from Ed Sherman, his show, that they spent a lot of time talking
And
about it.
I actually heard the show Saturday morning on the way to the gym.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast, and
And he spoke up on, I don't know who he had with him,
Steve Oken,
That's who's normal guy.
yeah,
but they spoke unbelievably highly of
I think Steve
Sunset,
Oken, yeah.
of you, Liza, of Ryan, of Cal for putting it all together. It was really
I mean, if we can have
Great
some
to
links on there,
find.
because it's a new course of people, and you have like Joel Hirsch or Patrick Flavin, or even those guys have some testimonials, or maybe even a portion of that podcast.
That's all up right now on the PHP website, so if you look, there's a post of all of our media coverage so far.
Yeah.
And then our next thing is to now get it also into the Sunset Valley.
Okay, great.
But the podcast, everything that we've gotten so far is already on the homepage of the.
Okay, so let's try to get on the Sunset Valley Golf. Okay, that'd be great, thanks.
Nice.
all right.
So we're open for play.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments?
Yes, I do.
Let's hear it.
Yes. Let me take a moment to thank everybody who worked so hard to produce Sunset Valley Golf Course. The course is beautiful. The clubhouse is magnificent. I'm not a golfer, as everyone here knows, but I enjoyed, it's a great place to go for dinner, and we thoroughly enjoyed the facility and the work that was done by everybody. Too many people to name, Cal. It's just a fabulous result, and all I can say is thank you from my heart to everybody who worked so hard to do it.
Here, here.
You're here.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Oh, you know what, did we mention green print knitting? Liza, are we gonna say something about that?
No, we are still in progress. I mean, yeah.
Just that we met.
If you're certain, we've met, we're working on our green
Okay.
print update.
I'll just say, all I say about that is that what we talked about is basically a procedure. The details to be figured out, but what we're thinking about doing is bringing to the board a recommendation to amend green print based on our discussions. So we don't know where those discussions are going to go, but instead of just doing it on an ad hoc basis, that we want to make this a living, breathing document. So when we decide to make changes, just like a comprehensive master plan, we'll go ahead and we'll make a presentation to the board to amend the green print plan so it's always current. So that's the procedure that we're going to follow. What's it going to look like? We don't know it just yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Call it a blueprint then.
Yeah.
For the green print.
Thank you. And last thing I'll say, move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Oh, no closed session?
No closed session.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody dare be opposed? So the meeting adjourns at 7:18.
Nicely done,
Nice.
President.
Fabulous. Quickly,
What?
so if we can find out some information on that sports complex.